So here we are, Johnny Canuck Talk, Adrian J. Hogue and Roy Stiles. We just want to do a little segment on the Canucks Wild series, and we're calling this Deep Dive because we want to talk about just sort of the general strategy around penalties, special teams, and the officiating, actually. So, Roy, off air, you were mentioning a conversation that Jim Benning had with the officiating. You want to just run us through that quick?
Yeah, well, they mentioned in the telecast last night that Jim Benning supposedly after Game 1 had a meeting with an off-ice official who's in charge of officiating, and the idea, the thought process behind that is the liberties that the Minnesota Wild were taking on Pettersson and probably some other players, but specifically Pettersson. He was being targeted, he was being clutched, held, knocked down, and he's one of the young stars of the game. And at some point, because we don't have the ability to let players protect players, at some point there has to be something done so that the stars of the game can still do what they're supposed to do without breaking the rules to avoid them from doing that. So I thought that was, if that meeting actually did happen, I thought there was some evidence of that. The officials looking up for it when Greenway in a scrum, PD and Greenway kind of got into it. PD kind of shoved him, he shoved it, and then he punched him, PD in the face. He got the only penalty. That's the kind of stuff that they're talking about. I don't think they're talking about necessarily PD's going to get tangled up with guys. He's going to retaliate. He's going to do stuff. They're not talking about that all of that stuff. I think they're talking about those scrums where those guys take liberties on the star players. And what it does is it creates a bigger scrum. And then I thought the refs were doing a better job of pointing just one guy, you're out, in those situations. Vancouver got caught doing it too. Stetcher got a penalty when he was the only guy. But that's what they have to do if you want to stop that stuff. So it goes both ways. So that's, I guess, what I'm talking about when it comes to the officiating. I thought they did a better job of that. But you have a take on where they're doing a good job, but it's getting annoying to watch.
Yeah, so I think there's two sides of this. The first side is that Vancouver wasn't earning the power plays in the first game, so it was easy to sort of just say, they're not giving us any calls, and the guys are getting abused, and Petey's not going to get special treatment, neither is Quinn Hughes, but Minnesota can't go above and beyond with their aggressiveness, and which was happening a bit in the first game. So, full marks to Jim Benning for having, bringing that to light and just sort of saying, hey, look. And, one thing we saw from Game 2 was Petey can take care of himself. And I'm telling you, if this guy can put 15 pounds of muscle on, look out, folks. But that's not what I want to talk about. So the Canucks definitely earned some penalties, some power plays in this game, just because of the control at the puck and going to the net, and maybe Benning's conversation helped a little bit. But something I noticed, and this isn't something I like to talk about too much in hockey, it's a bit of a taboo subject, but it's not a taboo subject over in Europe, where we watch professional athletes regularly using this as a professional tactic, and that's diving. And I hate to be the person to say it and the person to point it out, but if you watch the game closely, if we watched it together, Roy, I might be able to coerce you into believing that there were probably about 5 times where a Minnesota Wild player went down extra easy, gave up on the puck battle to try to draw a call. And the Canucks did a great job of not doing the, "Oh, it wasn't me," just kind of went, what was that? And maybe looked over at the ref. And a couple of times that happened, and the ref actually kind of did like one of these, and whistle blows, and I'm looking right away to see which player goes to talk to the referee to say, hey, that's soft. Keep an eye out for that. And I saw Markstrom do it once. I think Bo did it once as well. No, JT Miller did it once. And, the refs, if they're, I would applaud them. I really would applaud that part of the game, that they didn't, they weren't getting baited into anything. And I think one of the worst things you can do as a hockey team is be known as a team that goes down easy, because it's going to be really, really tough to get the calls. PD saw that a little bit, maybe a bit this year. He's maybe shed that reputation, which is great. We all know what happened with Alex Burrows, couldn't get a call in 5 years. So, that's where I'm sitting with officiating. So what do you think about moving forward, how the power play and the penalty kill is going to really affect this series, Roy?
Well, yeah, I mean, the power play is going to be huge for both teams. Minnesota hasn't scored an even strength goal yet, and yet they were the best team in the league in doing that. So they've actually done pretty well, I think, with the man advantage. It's not always a power play. I mean, they scored 2 goals, 6-on-5. They've scored a shorthanded goal. Special teams is going to be a difference. It usually is in most games. I think when a team I didn't notice the diving, but I wasn't watching Minnesota either. So I was watching kind of what Vancouver was doing. And so to me, if the team I'm rooting for, the other team starts diving, it means to me, it's desperation. They're just trying to get any momentum going, that extra power play to try to change things. If that's your tactic, you're going to lose a lot of games though, because you don't have your feet on the ice. So it's really hard to do anything when you're on the ice physically on your stomach. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the Minnesota Wild. Keep diving. Go for it. If the refs call 1 or 2, you know what? Whatever. But if you're going to keep going on the ice, we're going to win the series then. So I think they'll change their tactic. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about the extra man.